Everyone is living in the short term.
If I do it back and forth because I know you're just like, God, just let's say that. It's like, it's on you. That's why I told you this morning.
You know, because it's so short-term driven.
Has to start sometime. What better place than here? What better time than now?
Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to the latest edition of the Radcast. Hey guys, what's up? It's Ryan Alford. Welcome to the latest edition of the Radcast. I am here, as always, in the studios of Radical and the Radcast, the home of the baddest, coolest, motherfucking greatest ad agency on the planet. And I'm joined by, I'm just going to call you a brother from another, and it's Noah Sims.
Hey, man, it is such a pleasure being here. You said it so elegantly. I agree 100%. Every single person that I've met that is involved, associated with you, is top-tier professional, great juju, good energy. It's an honor to be up here, and for why we're up here.
Exactly. Well, we really appreciate Noah. We have Noah live. I'm so thrilled because we had so many live guests before the beast that was COVID that is still here, but, you know, obviously is on the back burner, and great to have live in person. Yes. And in person get-togethers again, you know, and we've got you up here for a good cause at that. But Noah's been on before. He was one of the finalists on MasterChef season 10. You know, kicking ass. He won't call himself a damn chef, even though the fucker knows, you know, more about food than I will ever know. You know, what is that about?
Because it's like,
is it too pretentious to you or something?
Ready for me to blow your mind?
Okay,
right,
please.
Right, here we go. This is gonna be. I don't know how I said this one because you hadn't asked you this question. Okay, so. For me, like going to culinary school, the definition used to be of a chef was someone that was formally educated, that was, you know, got their stripes in multiple different ways. And then you'd get paperwork, executive chef, you know, chef de cuisine, all these things, your levels, your tiers or whatever. But now in the way that we're living, every person just throws the term chef around. So how this is such an epic answer is, can you tell me another profession where you're just like, oh, look, it's radio dude Ryan. Oh, look, it's cameraman Larry. Oh, look, it's Mike the bartender. Like, it's like, oh, look, it's basketball player Michael Jordan. It's like, what is it that I need to throw the chef term out? And you know, I have thousands of chefs, and to each is their own. I'm just telling you my perspective on it. For me, it's like, well, I am so much better at a lot of other things than chef. Why do you want to call me? Like, I'm much better at conversation. So it could be conversationist Noah, you know, wordsmith Sims over here, you know, like whatever it is. So for me, I consider myself level of professionalism, upper echelon chef. I try. Do I have the skill? No. But do I act? Do I represent myself? Do I carry myself as the best I possibly can? Absolutely. Am I humble enough to know what I know, what I don't know, and try to learn every day? Yes. So for me, the chef term is like, you can call me a chef, and I do it back and forth because I know you're just like, God, just let's say that. But for a lot of people, they just want to like box me in as like, oh, that's a chef Noah.
That's what I was getting at. So it's less about being pretentious and more about limiting. It's limiting all that is.
Why are you titling me
Don't
chef?
Put me in a box.
Don't put me in a box. Don't put baby in the corner.
You don't put baby in the corner?
You never put baby in the corner.
Well, we're not going to put baby in the corner. We got him front and center here. Yeah. He is up. You're going to be listening to this, and the event's going to be long gone because you might be in year 2023. That's the great thing about podcasting. You never know where, when, or how you might be listening. But Noah is up. We've become good friends, and he is doing a solid. He came up. We're doing an event tonight, Greenville Hustle, and giving back to Project Host here locally that feeds the hungry and amongst a lot of other things. And Noah's going to be cooking and sharing perspective, and you know, we're just going to try to keep up with you. But I really appreciate you coming up. But it really plays to the bigger story, a couple topics we wanted to talk about on the podcast, and that's connections, networking, the power of social media in 2021. You know, we had the pleasure of having Noah on before. We've met, we stay in contact, and I know this is heavy in your kind of toolkit, whether naturally, whether planned, or just because you're fucking brilliant. I don't know, you know, for how you kind of live your life, but it's right in your DNA, brother.
Dude, I mean, the amount of compliments to unpack all the compliments. Like, you basically said that you're going to shelf this episode possibly for a couple of years, like an 82 Bardot, and just hold the good stuff until you really need a hammer. And it's like, listen, we're doing really well. How can we even go better? It's like, we got this 82 Bardot shelved up here. Throw the Sims.
We're going to keep it on the shelf.
Absolutely.
We do keep a couple in the tank, like in case something goes wrong. Yeah, this will be it.
I love that. No, man, it's just I believe that so many people get with communication and locking into community. Too many people get focused on just a verbal communication. It's so small in the whole grand scheme of things. And I believe setting a great conversation, having great conversation starts with having self-awareness, understanding who you are, so what you're representing is real. And whenever you're real, the fluidity of conversation is beautiful. It's an incredible thing when you get two people that are so real just talking, because it's real. It's tangible. You can see it. You can feel it. You can feel the energy. And like when I'm forming community, when I'm trying to establish guidelines, there's never any talks about money. There's nothing that's blinding me, because if you have Benjamins in front of your face, you can't see what's actually there. And of course, you've got to make money, anything, but not when you're establishing community. It's the antithesis of what you're wanting to do. You're wanting to get down to the bare bones so you can start pouring the foundation. And you want to have that foundation, because without the foundation, you have nothing. You can't build structure on that. So like how we started, back and forth, talking. This is what I'm about. This is what you're about. Establishing, well, this person clearly is very similar to me. Putting this back forth. Well, now this guy's a brother from another mother. There's never a talk about money. There's never a talk about why the hell would we talk about that? Like this morning, I was talking with all of your associates, 5 of them, and I was explaining to them about like marketing strategy and about how so many of these influencers have no concept of how ridiculous they sound when they come up to a business. And it's like, imagine friends. It's like, take yourself out of a business and imagine I just met you and it was like, hey, listen, we can be friends for like $1,000. I can give you an unquantifiable result that I have really no idea what it is. But if you do this and pay me, then I can do this. And then you do that to a business and say that to a business. Hey, listen, I know you don't know me from Adam, but for $1,000, because I have these numbers, I can give you another unquantifiable, thing that's a great ROI. It's like, you're never going to establish a foundation with that company. They're going to look at you being like, what's going on? Well, some companies pay. Yeah, thousands of companies pay, tons and tons, but they're pulling back away from that. And I got news for people. Not a lot of people are talking about this, but like influencers and all that stuff, that money is going to be starting to get drawn back, because you got people like me, got people like you, people like the Constellation Union that we'll get to the see you later. I like that, the see you later. But yes, understanding that you can get so much substantially ROI better with real deal people. It's like, why do you want to pay somebody that clearly is not invested in your company to be able to get a incredible, result that you can't tell me the result? It's like Tom Brady. Tom Brady, I don't care if you have a problem with him, there's probably something wrong with you. And I'm a Falcons fan, so we're not even going to talk about 28-3. Not even going to go there. Okay, I went there, but we're not going to go there. Tom Brady is the greatest, live the greatest, like probably is a great of all time. If he picked up a golf club, I can't think of a person you could have a better marketer than Tom Brady. If he picked up a golf club, he'd probably sell a lot of golf clubs. Tom Brady pick up a football, though, Tom Brady's going to sell a heck of a lot more. So if Tom Brady can't quantify how many golf clubs he sells, how the hell are you going to quantify anything else? Because you ain't Tom Brady. Tom Brady can't tell you how many golf clubs he sells. He can say, well, on this football thing that I sell all the time, my jersey sales are this is this. I can kind of tell you what I'm doing because I'm the best at this. With golf clubs, like, well, it's Tom Brady. He's going to pick up a golf club. We're going to sell a lot more, but we have no earthly idea what it is. And all these influencers are doing that. And you're not establishing community. All you're establishing is cash exchanging. And it's like having that currency exchange and not actually establishing social currency is such a short game. It's like you keep doing that. Like, I am okay with you doing that because I'm long game. Like, I see that I'm going to be able to make all of this wealth, be able to have extreme positive impact right now, knowing my location. Like we talked about, you got to know your location to be able to get to your destination. I am very self-aware of exactly where I'm at. I know exactly where I'm at, and I know where I'm going. I know what I have to do to segue step after step. Instead of just looking at this giant daunting task, I literally have it where it's plateaued. So I just see this, and I step up, I move up to the next one. I see that plateau, I move it to the next one. So I don't know literally how long that is right now, but I know I'm moving in the right direction. And once it clicks, once everything lines up and you got that community built, everything lays out. Everything becomes easier. The things like whenever you're on top of the mountain and you were literally needing some water, well, you just established 15 steps back this helicopter pilot that's going to deliver you some water at the top of the mountain. Hell, he's going to bring you down to the top of the mountain now, because you literally were real with that person. It started with being real and setting that foundation of I am what I am. Like we talked about earlier, I suffer from immense depression. I have anxiety time after time, had suicide thoughts. I've had all this, and I'm okay with admitting that because I got through it. I fought through it. It made me a stronger person. It made me understand blessings better. It made me want to help other people that suffer from these problems. Do I get paid for that? No. Would I want to get paid for help? No. Like, it defeats the purpose of what I'm trying to do, which is every day move society forward. And I think if you're trying to do that when you're greedy, it's the antithesis of actually what you're doing.
Yeah, well, a lot to unpack there. What you've keyed in, I'm going to give one word. I condense things. Like, clients come to me.
That's not me, dude.
And literally, like, no, but it's less about verbal and how many words I can say. But clients come to me all the time. They pay me
to
unpack a problem.
I love that.
And to condense it. But it's one word. Authenticity is exactly what you just described. It's the missing component in business, influencers, marketing in general, because like you said, everything's transactional. Everything is short term. We live in the modern world of short termism. It's a term that I preach about a lot.
I love that.
Everyone is living in the short term. Like, what can I get for this today? Because they think that the dollars or success, the destination is where they're going, but the journey is everything.
Yes.
And if you don't take the journey through a lens of authenticity, whether you're an influencer, a brand, a person, it all falls flat. And it all becomes very short-term indeed, because you fall right on your fucking face.
You nailed it. That's 100%. Like, I've told people multiple times, that's so true on so many points. I tell people my life is like the movie Slumdog Millionaire. I said, I've done all of these ridiculous things in my life. The things, and God has blessed me with a memory that is one of my greatest blessings that he ever gave me, was being able to retain information that I care about. And the thought of a zero mind of like remembering the most ridiculous thing, but then it comes back because everything has purpose. So the thought of a zero mind, it's got to have purpose. Like, you might have thought of this stupid thing that chain reaction into another thing. So it's like, that's another podcast. That's a whole nother thing. But the fact of the matter is that you having that authentic mindset is like that movie is, if that guy's just living his life and things are happening, and then at that moment he is sitting in that chair, and because he was so authentic, I can't even talk. He had so much on this authenticity in every motion, every movement that he did, doing everything not of greed, not of just being real in the moment, knowing his location, knowing that all that added up to right at the moment of everything when he needed it, and being able to stick to his guns and his gut instinct, having that Jiminy Cricket inside telling him what he needs to do, not looking at the mirror, not believing. Like, that movie is one of the greatest movies that has ever been made because of just the giant, humongous, just the Sistine Chapel of holy moment of just being real. That's what he was. And because he was real, he got the ultimate reward. And because he recognized every moment, because he was living for the day, that day he was rewarded. And if everyone can see the long game at that, that's what God preaches about. God talks about that throughout the whole Bible on giving, fighting greed. Don't look at short term. Go long game, like you're building community. That's all the Bible talks about. The Quran talks about that. Every book, every holy book talks about literally helping community, build community, long game. So you have long life. They don't talk about short life. Where does it say in the Bible about getting short life? life. It's long life. It's just like Methuselah, 963 years old. Dude, you think that guy's long game was great? Yeah, clearly. He was the oldest guy that ever lived. His long game was fantastic. It talks about, in the Bible, one of my favorite things that in the Bible it talks about is honoring thy father and mother, and you'll have eternal long life. It's like my grandpa had Parkinson for 37 years, had malaria twice in World War II, Guadalcanal, broke his back. This dude lived to 94 years old, and we asked him all the time, how do you live? He's like, I honored my father and mother. He says that's all he ever said. He's like, there was never a time, never a qualm, nothing. And it's like, I ain't talking about short life. So it's like, if God's talking about this all the time, it must mean, I don't know, like time is the most important thing, and like seizing the moment. It's like these short game people are the least short game of anybody, because they don't recognize the moment, the second that you could have a 3-second sunrise that could change your whole life because an idea pops in your head because God gives you that glory right in front of you. And because you ain't living right there, buddy, because you're on your phone, you're doing something else to get that $1,500 freaking free Jocko shake or whatever, you lost that moment that could transform your life because you're so short game, but not really short game. You know what I mean? It's deep.
Hey, there's another rule I live by, the golden rule: do unto others as you would have them do unto you. If we all lived by that moniker, I think the world would be a better place in all regards. Talking to you Republicans and Democrats out there.
Yes, geez, we could have a whole podcast. We could have a whole podcast.
We're not even going to go down that rabbit hole. I'm a proud independent these days.
100%, brother. Preach about that. I call that just an American patriot, actually.
Yeah, I think it is now.
Yes.
I think you have to be.
Yes.
Because I don't think you can be a patriot if you're deep on either side.
Here's the thing on that, dude. And I tell people this all the time because people always try to, again, put me in the box. If you're too far left or too far right, you can't see what's right in front of you. Like, you just don't be like, and don't blanket statement everything. Like, it's okay to say things against your party. Like, it's okay. People just get so caught up with it. It's just,
that's not authentic. So,
no.
But let's talk a little bit. I want to get into the constellation stuff, which, I'm going to tee that up, just through the power of like what we've been talking, having authentic connections, you and I having that, manifesting with you coming up here and supporting this event that we're having, manifesting through, connecting a lot of like-minded people. I think that's where it's back to the long game of these connections. And that's what we're trying to do on the Radcast. Like, I have guests on and I'm having CEOs, but I'm just having people. Like, I just want the people that I want to have a conversation with, not because I'm trying to pull a dollar out of their pocket, but because I want to I just feel like you're the same thing for why we do Greenville Hustle. It's like the sum of the quality of the people that you're talking in around is the sum of the quality of your own life. And so to that end, let's talk about what you're doing and how you're leveraging, social media connections and all of those things.
Absolutely. Well, I love what you said about like leveraging. It is that. It's understanding again where you're at. Am I big enough to be able to put this bar on here and lift this thing up? If you don't have the confidence, if you don't think you're big enough, you're just going to fall flat. Like, you've got to be able to understand where you're at. And if you're not big enough, that's fine. Again, you have the self-awareness to know maybe I should do this and try that. And for me, we'll talk about the Constellation Union. So the Constellation Union is a group that I'm working on right now that I formed that is just superstar, world-changing people that are very like-minded on that greed is no good. You have all political spectrums, all religious backgrounds, every type of color in this group. And what this group is formed and based on is connecting and allocating resources properly. So being able to do like what's happening. Like, this is exactly what the Constellation Union is about. Recognizing Ryan as a world-changing superstar, not ever looking for a dollar, is all about what Ryan is about and is what I'm about, which the Constellation is. So having that connection, him being like, hey, listen, I've got this charity event coming up. What do you got? Well, I've got, let me see here. Nothing. I'll come up. Okay, great. So what are we going to do? Well, we're going to grill. Okay, so I need some grills. Okay. So then I get on the phone and I talk with Mr. David. of Ace Smoke Grills. And then I talked to John of Spark Grills, and magically they just deliver all these grills free of charge the day before I come up here with all the fuel I need, all the briquettes. I'm able to take all of these grills, bring them up here, not a dollar's exchanged hands. Literally, we're up here. We're going to be slinging, making thousands of dollars for the homeless shelter. We're looking at some gas cost, a little lodging cost, but that is just peanuts to compare to the impact of what's happening, because community was formed, communication was formed, understanding was there, and an understanding of like where we're going. We understand each other's location and we know where we're going. So the constellation is something like, prime example, one of the members is one of my dear friends, Dylan LeMay. I guarantee you probably know who Dylan LeMay is. If you're on TikTok, if you're on Instagram, you know who he is. He's a megastar making ice cream cakes.
Oh, Dylan, I've never wanted ice cream any more than watching him.
It is
it's
incredible.
Like I think I've put on 5 pounds watching him.
He does. And then, of course, he goes around to the smaller businesses and helps the mom and pops. This man is one of the most selfless people I've ever had the honor of talking with. We're going to be doing incredible projects together, but Dylan is so giving. He never expects anything in return. And I met Dylan when he wasn't this big superstar. He had 20-something thousand on Instagram, and I immediately saw one of his videos and I was like, dude, this is an OG. Like, this guy is real deal. I saw these at Cold Stone. I used to be a Cold Stone manager. I was like, I want to help you out. I want to do whatever. Always trying to do things with Dylan, trying to help him out, never wanting anything, because I saw that he is the same. So I want to help him as much as I can. And if I can, what has Dylan done? Dylan's got like 10 million on TikTok now. He's gone all over Florida, just reviving the ice cream scene for Cold Stone. Like, he's made Cold Stone millions of dollars. No question. He has made Cold Stone so relevant. He's been able to connect with some of the most brilliant minds. He's able to connect with Gary Vee, who I think is one of the most brilliant people that has ever been around. My buddy Zane, if you're watching this, I love you, buddy. All of these people, because this guy understands long game. He treats people with respect. He doesn't care what color you are, doesn't care what sexual orientation. He's just a real guy. And that whole group is full of people. My buddy H. Wu, one of the most brilliant people I've ever seen. He just hopped on TikTok and Instagram and started taking his passion as real. Always wants to help people. Max the meat guy. All of these people are superstars. I went up and hung out with Max and Sophia, his sister. His mom came by. Just incredible family. And all they want to do is help people. And it's like, these people are superstars. They'll make bukus of money. And they know that, but they're so humble in the process of helping people and moving people forward. And you've got, my Master Bud groups where, you got Sherry and Suba and, Sam Haas and Evan Tessany and Nick DiGiovanni and all these people that are in our little group, that we're always about building community, always moving forward, not looking for that dollar. And that Constellation Union is something that is going to grow into a whole different spectrum, which we have to go over a lot of this, but able to have something where you have one of the best companies I've ever been associated in my life, John Boostblock. My dear friend Mandy Cook is a world changer. She makes world-class products. She runs operations. I can't talk about her products because I told her I wouldn't, but we're going to get back to you on what she's making. She's making some incredible stuff that is separate from Boostblock. But they believed in what I was doing, where I'm starting the cook at the food pantry, where we auctioned a cook for $4,100 for an 8-person dinner, $4,100 with me. Boostblock gave a block away. They gave me a giant prep table. They give me all these things. They gave Dylan a table, HWU table, Max a table, Sherry table, because they understand the ROI that these people are going to sell these organically. Like, people are going to want the tables that these pros are using because it's an incredible product. And if I present this to this group, they know that I vetted it. So they know it's good. So you keep that good energy. Whenever you have that trust from the good communication, that's when beautiful things start happening. It's like the grill. Going to be sending you one of those grills up here. Do you not think that every person that comes by sees that is going to be like, where do you get this thing? I've never even seen this thing.
Yeah, because we're going to be cooking on it right there on that porch.
Literally.
All summer. And people are going to go, where did this come from?
Exactly.
We'll sell 100 of those grills.
Yes, no question. And it's like, have we exchanged money? No. It's like, this is real working. Like, do you not think God is up there being like, yes, my kids are working together. I tell them all about this greed thing. They're not listening to that. They're just loving each other and understanding that this is way stronger than this. You can't pull this apart. You can do whatever you want when you're an individual. And it's like understanding understanding the allocation of resources, like Andrew Gruel out in California. The talk about a man that is a saint, raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for restaurants. Dude will say whatever he wants. He is a boss OG. I battle it. If he called me and said, Noah, I need you to come out here to California. We're doing a charity event. Immediately, I'm going to do it. I'm not even thinking about it. I'm going to do it because I know that this guy is a boss that just does what he does. He's real. He's a family man. He's got more kids. Him and his wife are Olympians. The amount of trophies they have, like they have so many kids. Like, and I love that, the amount of energy and love and passion. You see that. You know, you're looking at Antonio Bouchauer down in Miami, one of the best pastry chefs on the planet. That guy educates, talks to anybody, helps anybody, shows the art, shows the craft. You have Christian Rodriguez, who is the head executive chef, who is a real chef. That guy is a real chef, an executive chef of Four Seasons in Abu Dhabi. That dude, all that dude is doing is building up culture. He is the proudest Mexican chef that I know. I mean, he is just all about literally fusion, all about educating, and he's two beautiful kids. All of these people have something very in common. They're very authentic. They're very real. And whenever you do that, I can trust you. I know that I could say the relationship that we had, that this giant freaking steel bridge that we formed together, that I can trust this thing with like I could tell you, listen, here's $10,000. I need you to go down here and do this. And I know that I could trust you with that in such a short period of time. Why waste time trying to figure out somebody if it's going to work or not? You're going to feel it or not if you're real. If you're real, it should be instantaneous. Like if someone's real, God gives you, I think that like, yep, that's real. Like, you know it. You just know it. And I mean, it's like, so if you're really working on it and you're like, yeah, tell me how those really work out. Tell me how those relationships in 20 years are working out. Not. Yes, absolutely. Because you're like, my Jiminy Cricket's saying in Danger Will Robinson, I don't know what to do. And then you're like, oh, that's what that was. Man. Yeah. So that it makes it so much easier, though. And that's what makes no sense why people are not like that, why people are authentic. Like, you're going to go so much. It's proven. It's science. Matthew McConaughey's that. Like, it's real. Like, what you put out in the world comes back to you. That's a scientific fact. Like, I believe that wholeheartedly. And it's not, the confusing part is am I doing this so good stuff comes back, or am I legitimately real enough to, I'm doing this because it's the right thing to do and I want to do this. That's the key. Like, if people are just doing things, and that's not being real. Like, that's what's so important about being real, and you recognize it so quickly, and you can do so much more with real people. If you know, again, allocation of resources, if you know I got a real OG sitting over here, that is a different mindset than this guy, I'm a Wayfarer fan. Again, so you build the Constellation Union, you're able to say Constellation Leo. All Leo is tech companies, podcasters, whatever it is. You're like, hey, listen, I need to get this going. I got a charity going. You toss in, you jump into this other constellation. You go from Libra, you go to over here to Leo. Hop in, be like, hey guys, listen, I got this. One of these guys down here actually has a shop 4 miles down the road that you didn't know about, and he has all the equipment actually that you need, and you're going to go down there, he's going to give you that, and all of a sudden you made $100,000 on your charity because you're able to hop in Constellation. That's going to happen, bro. Like, we're catching up to it. It's already happened. We're just catching up. Like, real world impact, where like, hey, listen, the situation in India is happening. I make a call. I hop into the aviation Gemini constellation. Listen, I need this. What can we do? Well, actually, I have connections with this person. We can get X, Y, and Z. We can ship it out of Maryland. We'll have it there. Okay, let's make it shake. Now we're going over to India bringing oxygen tanks. That's the things that Constellation will be able to do. And the amount of wealth that is going to be accruing without having to do that is going to be there, because these people are movers and shakers. These people understand that we are going to be moving up, and people are like, well, that sounds like that's just back and forth and feels like, no, that being a real person doesn't mean you can't make great wealth. You've just got to be true to yourself as you're making the great wealth, and trust the process, like Nick Saban says, which I'm a Georgia fan, so it's hard for me, but Nick Saban is the greatest he's the greatest coach of all time. No one's in the day and age that we have with the athletes, and for him to be able to do what he does. So in him saying trust the process, you just got to trust the process. Like, you got to keep being like real, always going to be staying real. Like, if you're not, fake. Like, so you have to, even when you're getting your head taken off, even when you do this giant charity and you don't make a lot of money, even when things are just that, you got to stay the damn course. My dad always says, keep it between the ditches. You might have that dang thing rooster tailing outside, swinging around the road. Keep it between the ditches. Just if you're making progress getting down the road, just keep it between the ditches.
I think the one of the things that you really outline is some of the failures of like some of the social media that's now. And look, I'm in the business, but it's very easy to get superficial and too broad with like, hey, you got 10,000 friends or followers or whatever.
Good correction. Friends, followers, people.
Yeah, but it's followers and not friends and not groups of like-minded, and the smaller connections that you can build within those to find your people and your tribe. I think that's kind of what we're talking about here. 100%. Is where the power lies. It's like, I think so many people get caught up in the vanity metrics of it that they miss the opportunity to take broad down to slim and meaningful. And that's exactly what you're doing with Constellation, and why I'm thrilled and just blessed to be a part of it, like to ride that train. I mean, I just see so much potential, and I think that's back to, leveraging the power of these things, but putting it to use that has, broader impact.
Yeah, I mean, we can go back to that's so well said, is literally being able to focus all that energy and like let the cream rise to the top, so then you're able to have that. And it's like, say that there's somebody in the Constellation Union in a year, and say, we'll go to Dylan because that's an easy one to do, but it's like, hey, listen, I have this giant event going on. This company said they'd pay $100,000 if we were able to get a world-class ice cream cake, and they're going to donate $100,000 to something because they need, like, well, hold on one second. Hop in there. Hey, Dylan, listen, do you want to make $100,000 and donate $100,000? Well, no, Dylan would be like, I'll take like 10,000 and you give 190,000. Like, oh, that's fine. And having that allocation of knowing that you have this resource, well, this person is reliable, trustworthy, and able to help them because this stuff is going to be coming right back. Like, that's the whole great part about being in a real group. Like, it is what it is kind of thing. And I mean, that's what's exciting about coming up here with you, because it's like the proof is in the pudding with this. Like, this is the proof of like what I'm talking about is like doing the charity, doing this. This is exactly what it's about. I mean, it's exciting.
But to bring it back to like the practicality of marketing and business, we're going to film this whole thing. We're going to have hundreds of people probably here. We're going to raise a shit ton of money for charity, which I'm going to be matching.
Love that.
And it'll be doubling up whatever we make.
Love that.
And we're going to film the brands that contributed to your stuff. Are going to get some tight shots on their grills that are making thousands of dollars for local charity, that are involved in with quality people. Yeah. That content's going to be shared and seen and amplified.
Zero money
exchanging hands other than charity.
Yes, that's all the money is getting to the right spot. Like all the doll strung knives that they send me, which Abby, I love you, Abby, so much, and Emery for sending that. They believe in it 100%. That's why they're part of that. It's like what you're stating is like, it is such a no-brainer. Why would nobody? That's why I tell you, why would no one do that? It's like, it's on you. That's why I told you this morning.
Because it's so short-term driven. Yes. I'm having an event and I've got to sell these tickets and I have to make this money to recoup that money. Go ask my team. How many times have I talked about the budget this week? Once, because I wanted to make sure I knew how much we were giving to charity.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't want to, how much are we leveraging all the partnerships we have? Because if they're smart, we have a lot of great sponsors. We have Southern Culture Group. We have Maker's Mark. We have Southern Brewery down Southern Side Brewery.
I'm excited to try that.
All these guys see the big picture. They understand that they're getting involved with something that may not sell something tomorrow, but is is coming back to them through the greater good.
Yes, and that's what's exciting. And I tell people, if you're just living just as a transactional relationship, that is so boring and selfish. Like it is so ridiculous. I do service, get this, and it's like people, there's millions of people like that, and they're like, oh, what a jerk. But it's like we're all one. Like, why not unify and try to move each other forward? It's like, if you have an egg and I have this, let's have bacon and eggs. Like, let's not just have you have an egg and me have bacon. Like, let's have a better breakfast together. It's like I tell people about unifying through food. One of my favorite things about food is I can unify people. And it's like, you could get two warlords that hate each other and give me them and some guards, and we literally could have a meal and just talk about things and settle things down. So many people just get overwhelmed, like they just get over the smallest little thing and everything gets blown out of proportion. It goes back to like the focusing of things. I believe food focuses things. You're right here. Like, this is it at right here. Great food. There's no talking. People are just freaking going to town because they're focused on it. And it's like having communication with you, having communication with your team. There's something that's a very similar thing. Everyone's real here. You got great people around you. And it's like, well, if we got great people around here, real people, do you think we're going to be able to kick a real good product out? It's very simple, real simple. It's like, oh, I walked into Mr. Chef Irani's in Asheville's restaurant. As soon as I walk in, I immediately go, you have an incredible staff here. I'm just telling you right now, I can tell immediately. It's like, oh, they're incredible. They're so he's like, I got two guys that have been with me 13 years. You could feel it. You could see it immediately. I'm like, how the hell did you get a staff like this? Like, I can't staff a restaurant in Blue Ridge because I know I cannot get the staff and I will live there. And then I can't do things like this, brother. And it's like, well, it's this. It starts with the communication and understanding and this. And it's like preaching about this. I'm like, this is exactly what we're talking about. It's just understanding, establishing a trust, building that connection, focusing.
Yep. And there's a saying, I didn't come up with it, but it's one of my favorites. I say it all the time. It's part of the foundation of why we started GVL Hustle. Like, I started GVL Hustle when it was me and the co-work space that I now own, by the way, me and a little block, and that's like two of us. And I'm like, let's do an event where we bring everyone together, network, and we'll give all the proceeds back to charity. It's like two of us, 3 years ago. Now we're the fastest growing agency in South Carolina. We throw some of the biggest networking events. But you know why? The high tide raises all ships.
I love that.
It's just like, that's what happens. You raise the community comes up, you come up with it, they come up with you. Yes. It is the summation of everything that we're talking about, I believe.
But dude, you're dead on. I mean, that is brilliant, really, because that's what I tell people about, like the rich people with the tax cuts and stuff. It's like, do you understand that if you put more money into this country and lift up better, that you're only as good as your weakest links? And it's like the roads that you drive on with your $500,000 car, your $1 million car, it's like those suck. It's like, and if you gave just a little back, and everybody does, like our infrastructure would be better, like all the things that keep you safe and all that, that's better. And it's like lifting the whole country up. It's like not being greedy. It's like, that's the whole, what you said is what we're having a problem with right now in America. It's like, yeah, like if you look at any good society, it doesn't matter, like any good village or anything, everyone's the same. Everybody, like in a good village that's not messed with or we've messed up, you go and like everyone's the same. It's just everyone's chilling out. Do you think those people suffer from anxiety and stuff? No. Not at all. And it's like having a level and understanding, because the community is completely lifted up. You're not having a neighbor have one cow and this guy have no beef. They're going to have the same amount of beef. He knows that he's going to have a better life because his buddy is eating better, is going to be stronger. Maybe tomorrow we're going to cut wood. And because I gave you that beef yesterday, maybe you can come help me. Yeah, absolutely. I got some energy today. Let's go cut some wood. It's that elementary.
But we've got to empower people to, and not just give it to them. No. It's raising it. Like, that's the one 100%. Caveat I would say is like, I believe in capitalism though. And I think we all need to share the wealth, but let's empower people to be able to go take care of themselves and to do things. because then we can all help each other.
Look at, God, this is great. Look at exactly how we're doing the cook today. What am I doing today? I'm telling people to take accountability for your palate. I'm going to have that set up, and you can dibble dabble, and you can test and find and figure out, and you're literally doing that and taking accountability for the flavor that you're going to have at the end. And you're going to recognize, like, you're either going to really like it because you're balancing and understanding or you're not, but it's on you. And I am all from the it's better to teach a man how to fish than feed a man a fish. Like, I go biblical on it. 100% believe in that. I do not believe in handouts, but being real lets you be able to recognize the real people that need your help. So then, because the thing is if you only have 100% to give and you're allocating 10% to the wrong people, 50% to the wrong people, because you're just giving and not actually doing a case for case thing, you're totally going to screw up percentages. You're totally not going to allocate the resource properly, and it's not going to work. And that's why handouts never work. You're not teaching anything. You're just saying A to B. There's no any kind of education, anything of how we're going to get these people out. How are we going to do this? I couldn't agree with you more on that.
Man, we could go for days, brother, and we will. We're just going to have I guess at least quarterly
we can
Noah
do that.
session.
I'm only 2 hours and 35 minutes away.
Yeah, I'll even get on the road and bring the mics with me. Who knows? I got to see
Well, I've got that TV show that's going to be coming out. We'll be talking about maybe next time. There's going to be a whole studio in my house.
Oh, well, shit.
So literally, we literally hit the button. And
we'll be down there and
100%
fishing for some trout and doing who knows what.
Trout capital of the state of Georgia, Blue Ridge. Trout capital. If you want good trout, Blue Ridge, Georgia.
I love it, man. Well, where can everybody keep up with all things Noah Sims?
Okay. Instagram handle would be mountain_man Sims, Mountain Man Sims. And then on Instagram or on Facebook, Richard Noah Sims. I do not have any other social. I think that's all I have. Yep.
The gram.
Love the gram.
I do too. Just easy. I don't know why, but I love it too.
I'm not a TikToker. I'm not the type for a TikTok.
Well, we really appreciate Noah coming up, my brother from another. We're going to raise some money tonight for the local community and keeping it real. If there's one takeaway today, folks, it is to be authentic, be real. It doesn't matter what your story is. We all have highs. We all have lows. We all have flaws. We all have that. I have to tell myself that sometimes. And this was a great reminder for me, and I hope it helps you out there. You know where to find us, theradcast.com, all the content, all the highlights, all the snippets, videos, audios. Hit that search button. You search for Noah Sims, you're going to find unlimited content.
There's a lot of content. And then they start tying into the content with Suba and me, and then you're just in a whole different level.
Whole nother level. But and then we're on Instagram at the.rad.cast. And you know where to find me at Ryan Alford, everywhere, anywhere there is social media. And we'll see you next time on the Radcast.